So this is how I'm going to look when I'm 80. I say that because people made fun of my sweater before. I feel like I have to give updates sometimes. You'll see these things in the documentary anyways, but as I say things, open my mouth, or post things, I always have to respond to the feedback that I'm getting. And something I didn't even think of that I want to address is just that I'm not starting a war with Christians or church. Please know that. It's not the point. I see the church's place in this world, and I am so grateful for the people who were created and doing what they're doing through that way. There are just other avenues. There's a whole group of people like myself out there who I've connected with as I've traveled around, and I know that there's a place for us as well. That's all I'm saying. I'm not competing with churches. I'm not taking away. I made a mistake maybe by saying the focal points of churches. I mean, I just think that I don't want to judge all churches, just like I don't judge all people. It's just I want to shine a light on different parts of the story in order to capture the attention of a captive audience who turned their back on God, much like I did because of my experiences with other Christians, because I was judging them like, okay, if these are the followers, what are they about? And I was like, I don't know if I can live up to all that, honestly, and I don't know if I agree with all that. And I had all these thoughts about becoming a Christian because of the other people. So that's why I took the Bible and just studied by myself first, and then went into the Bible and into the church when I was at Saddleback, and really compared and contrasted what I had learned by myself versus what's being taught. And that was a fantastic church, but I also grew up in the church. I also grew up in a Methodist church, and yes, I was very young and I didn't understand it. I saw the preacher as more of kind of a agent for God, if you will. I was like, does he have meetings with God? Like, does he, meet with him personally and then come like pass on the information to us and like, stand up, sit down, light a candle, sing hymns, and do this every year? And like, I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't have its place where it's not valuable. I'm just saying I outgrew that maybe step, and I needed something a little bit more in order to worship and also put more pieces of the puzzle together and better understand God. So he's had me on this little tour through different environments as I've had to move around for one reason or another, to form me into the kind of Christian he wanted me to be, so that I can serve the way he wants me to serve. And sometimes that is leading, and I want to be a leader, and the things I'm doing, I want to make sure I'm not misleading people to believe in a God who I've painted the wrong picture because it justifies my sin. I'm not trying to justify my sin. I'm trying to demonstrate what I'm able to do in spite of the sin. And the focus should be doing for Christ and not don'ting for Christ. And the danger in being a safe Christian sometimes is, avoiding things so much because you don't want to upset God or, get any dirt on you, that you're unwilling to go into the darkness and truly be an evangelist. And not all of us are equipped or made to do that. But my unique makeup is like, was it John? No. Peter? Which disciple was the one that, because they separated to go cover like who they spoke best to. So I think the church has its leaders, and I'm a leader of a different type of mold of Christian, I guess, if you will. So my mission here is to focus on sins as he convicts me of them in my heart, and just commit to myself that it is a very long process and there are relapse times, and I believe that God is an understanding God, and he knows what I'm up against and what I've known to do, and I'm still enabled to do the good for the kingdom that I'm doing. So I think he cannot look at that stuff because of what I am able to accomplish. He'll take care of those things as I'm enabled more and more and empowered more and more. So I don't focus on those things, and I'm just trying to speak to the people who I know that they feel God nudging at them and they want to pay attention to it, but they've long left it behind because they got burned by it in one way or another through the hypocritical or judgmental Christian, even though, because the enemy has its people in the church too that's, deterring people left and right. So that's not speaking of Christians, that's speaking of just maybe that were Christians even unaware, bad day, wrong place, wrong time, whatever. But, don't let that lead you astray and never give God a chance, because if you have a one-on-one personal relationship with him, and that just starts with just talking to him like you would your own dad. If you didn't have a good experience with your dad, how you would speak with a father the way you would want to be able to speak to a father. And you'll hear him respond to you when you meditate, when you're going to bed, or when you take a quiet time. And start in First John, start with John in the New Testament, maybe I suggest, and then go maybe over to Romans. That might be too big of a jump. I'm not really a guide on studying the Bible. I've done it my own way, and I still use the same Bible because I want to see fresh perspective and new by having a Bible open or even an app open, and then thinking about it today, and then look back in that Bible about what I wrote about it then and compare that, and then also be able to compare it in my conversations with other Christians. That's how I learn and grow as a Christian. And so I just wanted to be clear, not to ramble on and on. I do enough of that in the documentary itself. But as I do this, some pieces are for the documentary and others are for to get you to watch, I guess. Because I feel like I'm trying to direct the attention to God. I'm not trying to get you to look at me. I'm trying to get you to look at him. I'm just using the attention you give me to point in the other direction, honestly. But it's not only about that. It's not about religion. It's not about all this stuff. It's about a walk, a life, a person who is found themselves in this same position for now the fourth lap. And each time back, I have collected a lot of stories because I've been doing a lot of things over the years, and it's a perfect time to reveal that to people I haven't been able to spend time with, and I have thought about along the way the whole time and who I want to know me. So if they choose, they can watch it. And it's also a release and a confessional. It's meant to be educating. It's meant to show you a true, genuine, real walk with God and what that looks like, and the struggles and the tribulations and adversities. And where there's a will, there is a way. You just have to find the way. And you have to look at it as a scavenger hunt and make it fun, and know that things will work out even when they look like all odds are against you. There is a solution. You just have to really talk to him, which is prayer. Just tell him what's on your mind. Be yourself. And then be quiet. Have a quiet time and get away from all the noise and listen to what your heart's saying and leading. And there are tools to develop discernment too. I'll get into that later. I wanted to add this quick because as I'm putting together this little short clip update, I felt the need to say that the kind of congregation or gathering I'm hoping to have is more in the form of discussion forums and meeting at places online, or even some places free, like the library or restaurants or whatever we plan out, not to get money to build buildings or anything like that. I don't want anything to do with money and what I'm doing, because I want to make sure that the two are separate, and for very good reasons. I don't believe money is evil. I believe it is an enabler if you treat it right, and I'm going to use the money from my business to do those kinds of things and the different businesses I have going, because I have other plans that I've just had on the back burner that are ready to go. And I'm not going to say my plan. It's just finally going to come to fruition, I think. And I'm glad that what happened a couple weeks ago got me to see that it's time, and I can't work on everything forever, and it's now or never. And it never made me more alive than what happened to me. It's whatever that was died, and I snapped back into myself literally overnight, and I've never felt more alive. So I feel I don't know if it's I don't know if baptism is the right way to describe whatever happened, but I'm going to take advantage of this energy and this rejuvenation I feel and put it into something good, because the things I've spent time and blood, sweat, and tears on building, those can be different foundations for the different things that I really care about. And only now do I really see that just always dreaming big and allowing myself to do that and not, believe the thoughts of it being so foolish or, it's been a long time working on these things, and I look back and see the different things I pursued and they didn't work out. And at the time I was heartbroken, but now I see how they're all going to be used together for one purpose, and it's now clear to me. And I think that's what happened to me 2 weeks ago. That's why I'm so happy. It's how can she be so happy after something so bad happened to her? I thought she was all broken up. Well, if that's what anyone's saying, and that's just me thinking about what people, probably must think, and whether that's right or not, I don't know. But I'm just saying, how I can be so happy is because it removed some sort of blockage I had going on. Think of it like a clogged artery maybe. And I see clearly now. It's he came to me in that time, and I went back. I don't know how to say it without sounding crazy, so I'll stop right there. But my point is, don't ever look at your failures as failures, because they're stepping stones and they come full circle. And so do relationships and a lot of things. So when you're being moved through different things, be able to let go. And my resumes, they frown on anything less than a year. And it's well, I don't have a year to waste on each thing when I know the environment isn't right. So there are many things that conditioned and developed me, and odd things I know because of jobs I had that didn't make it to my resume. But, I'm not afraid to leave when things aren't working. And that has enabled me to be able to do a lot of really cool stuff and develop a lot of knowledge to be able to do the things I'm able to do by myself now. So I'm just saying to anyone watching, just don't let your failures, fool you. I'm done now for the night. Good night.